Sorry guys, I look like a wreck. I've been moving furniture. Whew. Okay. This is the Ric Flair documentary, Becoming Ric Flair. Oh, I got the wrong. I'm like, why is that not moving? I need to move it down. Oops. Okay. Documentary review. This is not a retro wrestling recap. It's just the documentary about Ric Flair. First of all, I had to watch it in 2 stages because I was so busy. But I did finish it, and it was really good, actually. I'll be honest, it was a little bit sad. Okay, that is still a little bit high for me, so I'm gonna do this. There we go. Sit up on my feet. It was sad, honestly. Excuse me, in a lot of respects. He cried a lot. And it's hard to watch a grown man cry, you know? It's to me, it's even more sad to watch a grown man cry because because it doesn't happen as often, you know what I mean? And I feel for him, you know? He talked about losing his son, and he talked about, you know, just some of the things that have gone on, you know? And what is that? Oh. And things that have been hard for him, you know? And his lack of self-confidence, which I think would be a surprise to a lot of people because, you know, to fans, because you think he's the most confident man in the world, you know, and he's probably the least, you know, or one of the least, because for whatever reason, he just didn't have confidence, you know? And it's funny because you look at him and you see the nature boy and you think, oh my God, he's got it all together. No, not so much. Even though he, wasn't the best husband, and he would tell you that. He would tell you that he was not a great husband. His children were his world. And I guess his granddaughter, whose first name is his middle name, Morgan, is like his favorite person. So, I don't know if he has any other grandchildren. I know Charlotte doesn't have children. Reed never had children. I don't know whether David does or not. I think that Megan has a couple. And he boils her rotten, you know? His granddaughter. So. And I think it's great that his daughter named her daughter after his middle name, because it can be either male or female. I almost have my steps, and it is almost 4:30. And I'm tired. It's actually been a long day. Anyway, guys, I'm very pleased with everything. It's a long way toward me being pared down enough to move. Like I said, those two there can go wherever. But, well, no, they can go in the closet. As I was saying, I think that before we get off track, I think the main idea of it was to show him as a person. To show, and they kept going back and forth between, I want to talk about the man Richard Flair and the character Ric Flair, and sort of the dichotomy of the two. Excuse me. And so yeah, that pretty much was the main idea, was trying to the dichotomy of the two, and how are they different from each other, how are they the same, that sort of thing, but also talking about his life in an open, very honest way. He was so honest. And he didn't have to be that honest, you know. He didn't have to say, yes, I lived the life. But I think everybody knew that he lived the life that he talked about on television. Because other wrestlers witnessed it and talked about it, you know. He's had a major drinking problem he's had a drinking problem for a long time. It got really bad after Reed died. And I guess he still drinks, but it's not as bad. He still drinks too much, by his own description of what he drinks. But that's my opinion. I think he's a very sensitive man. And he puts up this front, like he was talking about, at the beginning he was talking about his adoption. I combined the words abduction and adoption because it was a Freudian slip, because he was both. He was a black market baby. He doubts that his parents, who raised him, sorry guys, I'm trying to put this down a little bit. Right there. New. But I have a hard time with that, because I think that they would have had to have known at least that he was, you know, that they were buying a child. They had to have known that. Much better. They had to have known that they were buying a child. But they raised him with love, and they raised him with everything of the world, you know. He talked about when he knew, you know, going back to his parents, when he knew that his son was really bad, was when he asked him for his grandfather's Rolex, which Rick kept in a safety deposit box. And, and he gave it to him. And at some point he sold it for drugs. He said to sell his grandfather's Rolex, I knew how bad it was. That had to hurt him more than you could express as a human being, to have given that to your child. And I don't know why he wouldn't have given that to his oldest son. Just saying. You know what I mean? As a connection, you know, but he just didn't. So, hopefully he pawned it and Rick was able to get it back. He didn't say, but hopefully that was the case. It's just so sad. What else? I don't know what else. Trying to think of what else he talked about. Oh, going back to his childhood. He had a really good childhood. His father was an OBGYN. His mother was a very smart woman, had a master's. His father had a doctorate besides his MD. And they put him in a private prep school, much like he did with Reed. And, only I think Reed did better than he did. He wrestled, and he played football, and all of that. And he said his parents were wonderful. It turns out that he has a brother, I don't know if he's older or younger, who contacted Wendy Barlow, who Rick got back into contact with several years ago. Loves her kids as his own. And they are now married. She was known as Fifi, the French maid, on Flair for the Gold, which was his short-lived interview program. Sorry, I have gas. Interview segment on the wrestling shows. But anyway. So they didn't have a relationship back then. That's when they reunited. When they were reunited, they kicked off a relationship, and now they're married. I don't know if she uses Flair or not. They kept saying Barlow, so I guess that's what she uses. Maybe because it's her kid's name. Not sure. Check's complete. Perfect. He also excuse me. I think he plays things up a little more, you know. He hides wait, gotta check this, guys. Okay, do that. And okay. And that's the one I want. It's the last one. Well, and this one. But this one won't take long because I'm not going to make a very long video here. I just think that there's a lot of pain inside, and that's part of the reason that he drinks. And I think that he hides a lot, and he laughs off a lot of things, but I think there's a lot in there deeper that you could just sort of see a glimpse of. And, oh, that's going to be an hour. That's what I thought. Which is fine, because it's only 4:38. Oh, sorry. My eye right up against there. 4:34, actually. So that's fine. Be a little after 5:30 when that's done, and I'll do this one, and we'll be good to go. I wasn't sure if I was going to get this one done today. I just think there's a lot more in there that you could just barely see a glimpse of. A lot of pain. Excuse me. I don't think a little therapy would do him any harm. I think it would probably do him a lot of good, actually. And I'm not saying he's crazy. Please understand that you don't have to be crazy to have therapy. It's just a matter of, okay, I need someone to talk to, you know? And I think that he does. That's just my opinion based on what I saw. I don't think he's ever talked about Reed's death, except in that interview, at any length to anyone. You know, I don't think that he's talked about his real feelings about being a black market baby. He refused to meet his brother. Evidently, his real name, according to his birth certificate, was Fred Phillips. And his mother gave him up for adoption, but his father was an architect. That doesn't make sense. Unless his father didn't know about him because they weren't married or something. I don't know. That just doesn't make a lot of sense. And based on Georgia Tan's MO, it doesn't make sense that she would take a child from a family that was going to be well off. And an architect is an excellent job. It's a very well-paying job. So that doesn't fit Georgia Tan's MO either. I would have a lot of questions, but claims he doesn't. Claims he doesn't care. He had wonderful parents. But he just is not interested. And I don't understand that. But I'm looking at it, and I have to be honest about this, okay? I'm not looking at it from his perspective. I'm sorry. I'm looking at it from the brother's perspective. Because I am that brother. You know, I in the sense that I am that sister whose sister won't talk to her, whose sister was adopted. You know what I mean? So I am that brother who has this brother, doesn't want anything from him, just wants to meet another person that has his blood. You know what I mean? And believe me, I understand the brother's position way more than I understand his. Because even if I were on the other end of it, I'd want to meet my sibling. I would be so happy if my sister called me and said, hey, can I come over? Heck yeah! And if you don't want to come over, we'll meet down the street at the Grill on Main for all I care. You know? Just meet me. And so, I guess for me, because I'm on the other end of it, I'm not going to look at it from a very unbiased way, shall we say. So yeah, there are definitely questions there, and I think he has them. And I really thought once his parents died, he would... Oop. Even my mother said he really doesn't have any questions. That's so weird. You know? She always said when he gets older. You know, and he's already 73 now. So, yeah, there's not a chance. I can't believe my Uncle Richard would be 73. Because Ric Flair's the same age as my Uncle Richard. 3 months older. And so that means my Uncle Richard was 74 this year. Because Ric Flair will be 74 next month. The end of February. He shares a birthday with my cousin Sabrina. February 24th. And... but it's hard for me to imagine my uncle in his 70s. Well, he's only 61 when he died. So it's hard for me to imagine that. That would mean the Rowdy Viper's going to be 69 this year. Well, if he were alive, he would be 69 come April. Because my mother will be 69 in July. Wow. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. It is absolutely heartbreaking at times and difficult to watch. You might even cry. Not gonna lie to you. Like I said, I can't be unbiased about that situation because I have a situation like that. I'm in a situation like that. So to be unbiased is not possible. And to have any understanding of his point of view, nope. I don't like it. I can't understand it. I'm not going to pretend to understand it. I'm not going to pretend to empathize or sympathize with him in that because I don't. Point blank, I don't. So, I just want to be honest, you know? And I hope he sees this video. Because I really enjoyed the show. I didn't think it was too saturated in WWE, which I was worried about. It being a WWE production. It didn't feel that way to me at all. In fact, the guy that narrated it was actually a guy that narrates true crime shows. One of which I really like, and I can't remember which one it is. I can't remember. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I'm sorry I got off track there in the middle. But yeah. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I will see you tomorrow. God bless you. Please hit subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.